The Nigerian Bar Association (NBA) has accused the Nigeria Police Force of failing to learn from #EndSARS protests. This was contained in a statement by NBA's president Olumide Akpata. NBA's reaction follows the recent public parade of hundreds of citizens arrested and detained on the suspicion of taking part in the looting and destruction of public buildings and private businesses or for contravening the curfew. Akpata said it is highly regrettable that the police in particular continues to carry on business as usual despite being the eye of the storm in recent times and in disregard of the wide outpouring of condemnation by Nigerians at home and abroad, as well as foreign nationals and international organizations about the misconduct of some of their officers. This gives the indication that the police hierarchy has failed to get the message and or is paying lip service to the calls for holistic police reforms. He added that the NBA is completely opposed to any act of arson, vandalism, destruction of public or private assets, or other forms of force or violence. However, the legal rights of citizens who are arrested on account of such allegations must be respected, especially their right to the presumption of innocence. In many, if not most of these cases, these people who, it must be noted, are first and foremost Nigerian citizens, have been held incommunicado for days without access to their families or legal practitioners of their choice and under inhumane or deplorable conditions in brazen breach of the express provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, which presumes all suspects are and defendants innocent until proven guilty, prohibits the detention of citizens beyond 24 to 48 hours, forbid the subjection of Nigerian citizens to torture or to inhuman or degrading treatment, and mandates the police and other law enforcement agencies to bring such persons to court within 24 to 48 hours. The NBA once again calls on the Nigerian police and the attorneys general of the various states to immediately charge the suspects before court of competent jurisdiction in accordance with the contemporary requirements of the law or to release them unconditionally. The wanton destruction of public buildings and private businesses witnessed in the past week is highly regrettable. However, the cure for illegality cannot be illegality. I have asked the chairpersons of NBA branches across the country to immediately monitor police stations within their jurisdiction to ascertain the essence of compliance of the police with the fundamental rights provisions of the Constitution to enable us to take or facilitate adequate enforcement actions. Okay. Apata, in my opinion, the NBA's president, in my opinion, you have spoken well, and that's just the way it is. The government is not ready. If really government is not ready, if government was really ready for the developments and the reforms and all that they've been talking about, honestly, all of this wouldn't have degenerated to this. And I think somebody was saying that with this NSAS saga and the problem we've encountered has been able to expose politicians and the police force itself, because they are not ready to do anything, because it's always business as usual. You can imagine why the protesters were adamant that they were not going to leave the streets until the government will do all the things that they've told them, because all of these things that they were talking about, they've been saying them before now. It is what and a common knowledge to every well-meaning Nigerian. It is a common knowledge, because the government is not always sincere. All the promises they have made, they are making, they don't fulfill any of them. That's where the problem is. And anybody can argue anything. Everybody knows what he knows. You know what you know, because from the narrative out there, it was the government that brought this problem upon Nigerians. They brought this problem because by the time the what is it called, the talks started coming in, we saw some videos whereby the officials, government officials, were carrying these talks, and they brought them We study this thing. So what are we talking about? Just that we have many problems. For us to start talking about this, before you talk about this one, another one will come up, another one will come up, and you begin to leave other ones. This problem, the government started the problem. No matter how a child can really misbehave, to a very large extent, the parent will be held accountable or responsible for the misbehavior of that child or children, as the case may be. And that was exactly what the government has done. They complicated this whole issue. Now, the people who are not protesting, they are not there. Now you are not telling us that the protesters, it was because of this NSAS protest that caused all this problem. It's a lie. You brought it, because the most peaceful protest ground during this NSAS episode, the most peaceful ground was that Lekki toll gate, and that was exactly where you went to go and commit all of these things, just because you want to prove a point so that it will deter the rest people. But you don't know that you've just cut a tree halfway. You didn't uproot it from the root. You didn't uproot it, and you think people are happy. You think you have done justice. Is that how to manage a country? A president that cannot talk to the people, that does not even know what the people are talking about, until his aides will write a letter to him and begin to read. There's no connect between him and the country people. So they've been playing lip service with everything, and that is why people don't trust them. You see, the same thing they were accused of, the same thing they used the army to come and to finish again, and you expect the people to be happy. What kind of a people are these people? The police are not learning anything. You see the heap of people, the numbers of people they say they caught them. And meanwhile, we have billions of naira that are going away from the country's coffer. And nobody will arrest them. Nobody will go after all those people. The real thieves, the real hoodlums, they are holding political offices. The real hoodlums. We are talking. See the hoodlums. Pack all of them together. It's not up to what one politician has taken. We have hoodlums at the highest level in this country. These people are not learning. Of course, the police, they are not really learning, because they are not ready to change. They are not ready to change. The same thing, we say the same thing over and over again. How can in a saner environment, there's a constitution that if someone is being arrested, you charge the person instead of leaving the person, for eternity, and you expect things to continue to move on. Simple thing we can't even do. Simple thing they cannot even oblige. What kind of a system is that? Very unfortunate. Well, if na no understand simple English, make una go back to school. It's only passing a message to the knowledgeable. Of course, that's just the way it is. If we cannot handle little things, you are not supposed to hold somebody more than 48 hours. You see, they are holding them, and the same thing, repeating the same thing, that you want the country to be okay. These are the little things. Of course, they are not little things, but in our own context, these are the things that they are supposed to do, but people overlook it. They overlook it. Someone says this one never get case since 1 year. He's talking to the NBA's president. Is that what we are talking about? So you see what we are talking about. Somebody is making a valid statement. Somebody is saying, he's talking about another thing, digressing. Well, no case for him, because the only case he had is that of your father's case, who had been sentenced to life jail, northern whatever. Okay, can you try or stand a case? It's painful to lose life, whether civilian or police, and Nigeria sympathizes with all families that lost loved ones during this hashtag NSAS and police brutality crisis. However, it is important to take cognizance of what sparked off the protest, be it degenerated in violence, looting, destruction, killing, arson, maiming, and other forms of violence. We must all work towards reforming the police force, where every police officer should be given their due respect, while civilians, whether suspects or not, should be accorded with their rights as human beings. Let us not forget that both police and civilians live as a family. If you are a police officer, your children, and possibly your wife are civilians. On the other hand, police personnel are the husbands, siblings, parents, and other relatives of civilians. Let's do the right thing so that we will have a better place. We call our place. If not, Sorry is the story.